Had some cheeky shenanigans here. Is Solar. We saw something similar to this being done versus Igers, but it was in a ZvT. And that was for like a 3 or 4 Ravager rush. So it looks as though that might be what Solar wants to do here as well. Maybe clinch out one very, very quick game of the series. PiLiPiLi so far hasn't been going too greedy. He didn't start off with a Nexus first or anything along those lines. Looks as though he does want to secure that Nexus now though. And what are we going to see? So drones are being pulled off the line here. It's actually going to be Zerglings and Speedlings. Not going for Roaches or Ravagers. So his goal here is going to have to be to try and get a cancel out on that Nexus. And it's certainly going to be a long time before any adapts or a mothership core is going to be out. Probe does see Zerglings. Does he think that he can hold? He immediately starts chronoing out a Zealot in response, but still that's going to be 1 Zealot against, looks like it's going to be 8. 8 Zerglings at first and then 12 soon after that. Speed is going to be done in about 45 seconds. And behind this, Solar isn't committing all in. He's going to be taking a base, going for some macro of his own. Let's try and focus down this pylon, which is curious. I suppose he actually knows that PiLiPiLi's going to be supply blocked if he can kill this pylon off, which is actually incredible. The star sense on this guy is insane. So PiLiPiLi cannot produce anything right now. He did actually manage to get something out just in the nick of time as that was cancelled, that pylon. And I think this Nexus has no chance of being able to stay alive. Solar takes out those Zealots, that Zealot in the probe, even with the mothership core now being done, still has no chance of being able to save this Nexus. It does fall. There are adepts out on the way. It isn't able to get a nice block off on that ramp. Zerglings flood into the main. There's only 1 pylon there. There's not another one there in position. So Photon Overcharge is going to be effective, but it's still going to be quite annoying to clean everything up here. As the Adept now comes out. Still doing a lot of work. And just baiting out a lot of energy from PiLiPiLi, who's only got 1 more Photon Overcharge left. Solar's just even trying to work on that pylon. Trying to make PiLiPiLi divide his attention and maybe even waste another 100 minerals having to rebuild something along those lines. And meanwhile, Solar's just been droning quite effectively behind that. He's now gone up to 24 drones versus the 22 probes of PiLiPiLi. Who, to his credit, has done a good job of defending. His base is just so incredibly far behind, and Solar's even adding insult to injury and taking that 3rd base. So his economy is going to explode really soon. Warp gate's going to be done in about 25 seconds alongside these gateways. So the idea here, I believe, from PiLiPiLi is going to be to do some 3-gate pressure, try and get a cancel out on this 3rd. Solar should be scouting this in time though. And another gateway actually going up. Meanwhile, just a little run by there manages to pick up Zergling. Solar is incredibly good at just finding small amounts of damage. PiLiPiLi's going up to 5 gates, and he'll have the fast warp ins because one of the warp gates will be over at the 3rd. There's not going to be any upgrades or anything along those lines. It's just going to be pure adepts or sentries, maybe a couple of stalkers here and there, but probably mostly adepts. There won't be any roaches for quite a long time. This roach warren only just started, so roaches are a minute away, but the attack is less than that. Mothership core hasn't been brought up as well, so he's not going to want to put any pylons down and do offensive photon overcharges. This is purely for defense. He's not continuously building probes. He's only been building a couple of probes here and there. He's really trying to get out as many sentries as he can. The Adept sentry combo is going to be pretty nice. Solar goes up and scouts, but it's a little bit too little too late. Immediately vacates that 3rd. Understands there is no chance of saving this base. But he's also going to buy a little bit more time getting those spine crawlers up, getting 6 roaches out as well. Solar's trying to do a little bit of cheeky run-bys there with the Zerglings. But it's not meant to be. PiLiPiLi chooses not to focus down on that third. Probably the right call to make to try and push the agenda here. Some nice force widths down, really trying to zone out those roaches from doing much damage. The spine crawler is going to be done though, and that's the worrying thing there. The second one in the back will be able to be repositioned. A lot of these roaches are now done. The adepts just aren't able to really do much against roaches, and the sentries certainly aren't able to when they don't have any energy, and he's going to lose the mothership core. It's all falling to pieces now for PiLiPiLi. Manages to get 1 roach, but 6 more on the way, along with 12 more speedlings. It's possible that he might get this base, but I think if Solar commits to defense, he should be able to save it just the same. Even repositioning these spines, Solar's multitasking under pressure here is absolutely phenomenal. PiLiPiLi is now, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't have the mothership core, he can't have any recalls. The Ravagers are here as well. Corrosive Bile can be thrown down and does land. A nice shot there, doing 60 damage to anything it hits. Does connect, and GG, well played. PiLiPiLi has to tap out. Bows down 1 game to Solar in this best of 5. So really nice aggressive style there from Solar, showing that he's not a one-trick pony. He doesn't have to just play 3 hatch before pool every game. He can throw out, what was that? It was a 13-12? Really nice 13-12 there on Arena. Super small rush distance. Paid off in dividends. Such crisp play. And we'll be back with Game 2 in just a minute, guys. Stick around. And welcome back. Super quick break once again. Going straight into game number 2. Both of these players really rearing up to go. In the top here on Dust Towers, hailing from Team Psystorm, it's PiLiPiLi. He's had a really nice tournament run so far. Taken some scalps. Took out Apocalypse. Took out Patience. Beating up nerds and taking their lunch money. He's having a great time. And his opponent in the grand final, who is up 1-0, showing some really crisp play, has not dropped a map all tournament, and still hasn't lost a series in Legacy of the Void so far. It's Samsung Galaxy's Solar. And being very proactive about that scouting, takes the forward hatchery, which is interesting, wants to maybe get some creep spread going. And we'll have to see if he wants to go for 3 hatch, be very greedy, or if he's going to throw down a spawning pool before then. It does move the drone out to the 3rd, so he will be taking 3 hatcheries very quickly. PiLiPiLi going for Nexus first, his own base, then adding on the gateway and the assimilator. So both players definitely not going to be doing anything too crazy to begin with. Be going into a macro game and see exactly how this is going to play out. PiLiPiLi definitely with probably the best response to Solar's 3 hatch with that Nexus first. Going for the 2 gates, this is something that we've already seen him do a couple of times. Get out a bunch of adepts quite early. He'll be adding on a cybernetics core as soon as that first gateway is done. And in terms of the harvester count, because of the chrono boost, he is slightly ahead, but that story will change once these hatcheries do finish up. But definitely with the Nexus first, you're not going to fall too far behind, even the 3-hatch player. Have to see if he wants to go for something heavy again off 2-base like last time, or if he wants to play it safer, going for a longer game and go up to 3-base PiLiPiLi quite soon. But it's more likely he'll want to maneuver around the map with a little bit of tech, first of all. We'll have to see, does he want to go for a Stargate again? Does he want to go for Robo, or is he feeling? Gas, the first gas actually being taken in front expansion here from Solar. Hasn't yet really added on anything other than the queens and the drones. Will he be going for the speed first, or is he going to want to do anything with roaches? Just have to wait and see. And Stargate is the tech of choice from Pili. I want to get some oracles out and do some light pressure. He hasn't really managed to find too many openings in the past, or a lot of the Protoss, like in Blisk's series, he wasn't able to find too much damage with the oracles, because Solar is just so on top of his timings. What amazing sentry timing just to pop out there. He's going to be able to take out both of the Zerglings, but he is taking a lot of HP damage on that sentry. Poor guy. And Pili does have a couple of adepts. He is able to do some damage there, taking out quite a few of those drones. 3 so far. We've got the Zerglings coming up behind. 16 were in production. He's got his shades out, but they're just sitting there at the bottom of the ramp. You need to move them, man. Unable to do as much damage as he would have liked, but still managing to get quite a few drones there, losing 10 units in total as Solar to just the 2 adepts of Pili, who is taking that third, so he is taking the more economic route there, going for that third base. He's got his tech of choice. The question is going to be, is he going to be able to hold that third against 20 more Zerglings, speed in production, with these 16 in the front? Well, it's actually 18. He's got a couple of photon overcharges available. He's got that pylon, and the 2 photon overcharges are actually able to clean up a crazy amount of Zerglings. Look at that, absolutely nothing being done there from Solar. Pili needs to be on top of casting, recast it. He wasn't watching. And the pylon will fall. He certainly would have been able to find a few more Zergling kills if he was just a little bit more on top of that micro. And now the third is under siege. He will have to cancel it. There is absolutely no way he is going to be able to hold this one down. Cancels one of the gateways as well, an unpowered gateway. Not a great story. And meanwhile, sorry I missed that, 7 drones were killed in the background from Pili. So he was able to do a bit of his own pressure. And look at this Sim City. This is haphazard to say the least. Adding on 5 extra gateways. He was just floating way too much. And a robotics facility. He's clearly feeling the heat of playing someone like Solar. Both players have been supply blocked as well, meanwhile. I've never seen SimCity quite like this, and I doubt I ever will again. And some Zerglings moving around the Spire now, the tech of choice for Solar. And a Void Ray coming out from Pili. Well, if that runs into meters, he's not going to have a great time. But the Void Ray is more likely just to clean up some Overlords and just be able to defend and try and take a third base. Unless he's just going to commit and go for it. He has not added any forges, so he might just want a 2-base all in. We even see a Warp Prism. Yeah, this is just going to be another 2-base. He's not going to want to play a longer game. If he tries and takes a third base, he's going to fall too far behind too quickly. The really concerning thing is Pili doesn't even have pylons to be able to photon overcharge and defend against Mutalisks. There's no forge, there's no cannons. There are 11 Mutalisks on the way. So while his ground army is really scary, I'm not sure he's going to really be able to deal with the mutas that are going to be flying in and cleaning up the base in the base trade. And the mutas are even going to be quite effective in the front. They do fly into a bunch of these Stalkers though, loses 2 mutas for nothing. Great pick up there from Pili. Continues to make just some Void Rays. He's got the Adepts in the front as well. Loses an Oracle. Nice pick up there from Solar. Both players pretty even in supply. There's only one Spine Crawler, some Mutas and Zerglings. Pili might actually have enough to go here. He hallucinates some more Stalkers, just providing a little bit more HP for his army. The Mutas are going to work on some of those Void Rays and the Stalkers in the back. The Zerglings desperately trying to get something done. The Void Rays are being quite effective in dealing with some of these Mutas, but the DPS just is quite low. The Sentry's still on the ground, but all of the real Stalkers were cleaned up and all of the fake ones are left alive. Solar showing his class once again. Cleans up a gateway all in with Mutas and Zerglings. Excellent, excellent play once again from Solar. They're still relatively even on the worker count, but Solar's advantage is just in that army. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Pili to be able to get enough Phoenixes off just one Stargate to be able to deal with anything. There is no Blink left on the ground. There's only Adepts. Adepts don't shoot up, unfortunately for Pili. And with only 1 or 2 anti-air units here, he might be forced to GG in short order. I'm not sure that Photon Overcharge is that good. I mean, it is a pretty good unit or ability, but it's just not that good. So many Photon Overcharges to Phoenix, but Solar doesn't care. He's going for the kill, going for the jugular. Excellent control so far, but he is out of energy on the Mothership Core. There are no more Photon Overcharges left for Pili. He needs to have excellent micro with the Phoenixes, and so far it has been good. Does lose 1, it was on red HP anyway though. And so it's 2 more Phoenixes. Once again, 1 more Photon Overcharge is ready. And we've got 8 Mutas left in the sky. But we also have a Zergon 3 base who's going to be flooding in Zerglings momentarily. And the Phoenix, I think their days are numbered. Pili, 40 supply down at this stage. He is microing, to his credit, incredibly well. Solar just relentless. He's not bothering to make any more drones, not even looking at his bases, just going straight for the kill. All his attention is just on killing the Protoss right here, right now. Cleans up all the Stalkers in the ground, cleans up the Phoenix. GG is called. Solar taking a very convincing 2-0 lead in this series. 1 more win away from having another tournament win under his belt. And we'll be coming up with that game in just a minute. And welcome back, guys, to the Masters Cup number 60. This could potentially be the last game of the tournament, at least in the grand finals. I'm not sure how the third place match is going. Let's introduce the players over in the, what is this, like the 10 o'clock, 10:30 position on Ruins of Ceres, the biggest map in the pool. Playing Protoss in the green is Storm Gaming's PiLiPiLi. And over in the bottom right-hand position on Ruins of Ceres, I'd say this is probably 4 o'clock or 4:30. And going for Gaspol once again, wanting to end the series very quickly. This might be a short one. Is Samsung Galaxy's Solar. Still has not dropped a map in this tournament so far. What a boss. Just cruising through, crushing nerds. Excellent, crisp play. This is the guy you want to be learning from if you're playing Zerg right now. And we'll just have to see, what is Pili going to be opening up with? He's scouting out for, I suppose, he's looking for a scouting overlord. Yeah, he would be looking for that overlord if they spawned in a convenient location, but unfortunately it's not to be. And again, this looks like it might be a repeat of Arena, where Pili goes for this Nexus after Gateway, and Speedlings are going to be flooding him behind. What you have to remember though is Arena, the map that this originally worked on, has a very incredibly short rust distance. So the Zerglings got there after about 20 seconds, whereas here, Solar does not even know where PiLiPiLi is spawned, so he has to go and scout, and it's going to take a lot longer for his units, his Zerglings, to actually reach this location. Now, once he has speed, it's not going to be too much of an impact, but at the same time, it's giving Pili just a little bit more breathing room. It's not a crazy, ridiculous rust distance. And Pili has the right spawn location for this. I mean, cross-map, if you're going to defend against the 13-12 of Solar, this is the map, and this is the spawning location that you're going to do it on. Solar has been incredibly good so far at just hiding those Zerglings until the pylon finished, because he didn't want to see that pylon cancel. This is 100 minerals that he's able to pick up and able to destroy. That's already going in his favor. And then after this Nexus is done, going to be going straight for that. Looks like, or maybe he's just going to go straight into the main, see what he can get done. There's no Mothership Core just yet. It's about 5 seconds away from being done. He catches the Adept. He kills the Adept straight away, and then immediately runs back down into the natural, going to go to town on that Nexus, try and clean up that pylon as well. Doesn't want any photon overcharges coming out, and also wants to have the ability to maybe supply block his opponent. Because if he can stem the tide of units, there's no way that Pili can actually deal with this. A lot of these probes are under threat now. Really excellent control so far by Solar. Also going to town on that Nexus. More Zerglings streaming through, microing around in the main. He's microing in 3 different locations at once, all the while macroing back at home. And this Nexus, GG, it's called. Solar wins the tournament 3-0. Incredibly decisive victory there. Pili just did not have the answer to the incredible play of Solar. So here's the Masters Cup number 60 champion. Played incredibly well. And this was an absolute pleasure to watch and cast, so thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great time just chilling out and playing some Starcraft on a great Sunday afternoon. If you want to see more, we should have another Masters Cup, and I believe it's a bi-weekly event now. It's every fortnight. It's run by a guy named Eddie. He's part of the SC2C community, but every month they do run a worldwide tournament, and this is that one, which is why it includes Americans, Europeans, and Koreans. Everyone is able to join, so if you want to check that out, make sure you look out for the threads that'll be posted on Team Liquid, on Reddit, on SC2C, and just join in. Even if you get to match up against someone like Solar, hey, at least you got to play one of the best players in the world, even if you get knocked out. Like, look at it as a learning opportunity. It's a great time. But that's pretty much it for me. I'll be signing off now. If you want to follow, you can. I'll be streaming some of my Terran gameplay probably in about an hour's time. I want to get another ladder session going, and just a cheeky brag there, I'm top 16 on NA, so this was also a learning opportunity for me. I was looking forward to watching a few more Terrans, but Bjorn unfortunately didn't make it. He was war COVID, Keen got knocked out. Apocalypse fell to PiLiPiLi, so I didn't really get to see too many Terrans other than Tigers play against, I think it was Lappy and Solar, who he fell to. But great tournament, great time, guys. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekends. If you're in America, it's probably fairly late at night. And if you're in Australia, enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. See you later.